Morning, guys. Looking at a tree behind me here. Not just a tree of any regular kind. This particular tree happens to be, I'm going to just pan upwards, a very dead tree. Very tall, very dead tree, and you can definitely get a feel for from the camera where it's looking at with this tree that it is leaning. So it's leaning in a particular direction, and it's mostly the direction that I would like the tree to go. We'll kind of take a look around here. So back over here, see if I can stay in the camera light here. You can kind of see there's this brush pile down yonder. So that is the rough direction I want it to go. I'd like it to be a little bit further out into this field over here. Sorry for the brightness. So right, kind of, that's an apple tree. I want it over here. But you can see this tree is leaning behind me here. Hello, friend. You are looking up this tree. It's got a very definite lean. So it's leaning the backwards direction just a hair compared to where I'd like it to go. Overall, it is also leaning at the bottom in the correct direction, kind of out towards the field and down. But at the top, it comes back inwards, away from the direction I'd like it to be. It's got a lot of branch weight on this side. So the majority of the branches, that's the south-facing side. That's where they're at. And that's a good thing from that standpoint. So that will enable me to drop this guy in a windless day like today, if I choose to do it today. Hopefully in the right direction. I'm going to make sure to, be fully prepared for, if it's going to move. I have all my angles of escape ready. I'm going to make sure that I have my spikes with me so that I can help encourage the tree in the right direction. The one thing that, aside from the lean, that gives me a little bit of pause is the tree itself is oblong around the trunk. And I'll kind of try and show you what that looks like here real quick. So this is the trunk from the side where it's oblong. And then you can kind of see here's the trunk from the other direction. So it is wide in the direction of the way we want to fell it, and it is narrow in the opposite direction, and that is probably not ideal. Gonna mean I'm gonna have to cut quite aggressive into the tree in order to get the proper wedge out of the tree. But on the other hand, it does mean that I have a relatively small blade, and I'll have to work it both directions. If I don't get my hands on a longer blade, I have a couple of people who I know who have some. So if I am looking at it and deciding that I really feel like I need it, I can always get that. But that should enable it, hopefully, to be easier from the cutting standpoint, to have it be that direction. So I did test it, and we'll see if it shows up on camera here. Let me grab a little hammer I've got with me. So this is a dead tree, but it's only been dead 1 year. So see if we can pick this up on the camera. So listen to this sound here. It's that sound of a more of a solid tree. So at least where down here where I'm going to be cutting, it should be good to go. It shouldn't be particularly hollow. There may be some punky spots, but overall it sounds, and I've tested around the tree, it sounds like it's still in good shape. It was alive about 3/4 of the way up last year, and then it finally it's dead. I don't see any signs of life left in the tree. So it's dropped a couple of big branches. This is a big tree, and damaged the fence. So I took out the fence. It was right here. You can see where the gate is and where the post went up to. So that fence wasn't in great shape anyway. I went ahead and took it out. I'll replace it when I'm done. And yeah, I'm gonna try and drop this guy maybe use all the branches as chip, and then let it sit for a while and let it season, and probably use it as firewood. It's already obviously been dead for a bit, so if I let it season all the way to the winter, it should be in pretty good shape for firewood for this coming winter season, or the year after that if I have good firewood from somewhere else. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on right now. We've got the cattle rotating. I did end up getting that second smart fence roll, and boy, it is nice, especially on that bigger field that I'm in right now, which is over the hill, kind of down there. So that's enabling me to manage them a lot more intensively, move them once a day. Right now I'm not at work, and so that does mean that I have the time to be able to move them consistently every day. Depending on the work days, sometimes I had to wait a second day, and that did lead to some overgraze compared to what I would like. So there are ups and downs to this, especially if you're like me, someone who is farming on the side, until I can get far enough along to be comfortable with, all the expenses that come with owning a place. We definitely went big with this place, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's absolutely gorgeous up here, and good ground, great opportunity. But at the same time, there is a balance to that, and there is a cost. And in our particular case, the cost is, we have to tread carefully financially. We're not in any problems or anything, but you have to plan these things. And it's the same for if you're farming and you are able to purchase the land outright. Farming is it's a financial sink. You can pour money into a place. A lot of experienced farmers on YouTube, people like Richard Perkins, or in a different context, different milieu, Greg Judy, for example, talk a lot about not spending all of your money on getting everything set up. You have to get started, and ideally, in a situation where you're farming as your job instead of as a side thing until you can get it kicked off like this, I can afford to put money into the farm when it's not returning yet, which is what you're doing if you have an orchard, without taking out an additional loan, which is really important to me. But if you're farming and that's straight your revenue, you've got a cash flow. You've got to get the cash going as fast as possible, and something like an orchard is not going to do that for you without additional revenue sources. Things like chickens, or another animal, potentially. I mean, you might be able to do it if your orchard's primary focus was like bush crops. Take the hit for 1 year and then start production on year 2 if you really push the plants. But this is a different situation for us. So yeah, that's what we have going on, and kind of where we're at. You can see it's been gorgeous here. It's unseasonably warm, 60 degrees, beautiful. All the trees are coming out, and I think we are probably, actually right over here is a great example. This is a cherry plum, just a wild cherry plum. It's got very sour fruit that hang on the tree for a very long time, and by the time they are fully ready, they are delicious. Just a touch sour compared to most supermarket fruit, but very complex flavor. Yeah, really pretty tree, and it's gorgeous out here right now. I don't think we're gonna see much in the way more of freezing weather, that kind of a thing. So hopefully not. I did have a few of the things I put in the ground this year already, put them in when they arrived, and got hit with a little bit of frost. So we'll see. Mostly just raspberries that I'm worried about. A couple of them had broken bud and then got damaged. So we'll see. Yeah, more to come. A lot of stuff going on this spring. I'm presently home. Kid is asleep, so I'll be doing a lot of work while he's napping. And be home for a little while, so expect to see some more videos when I'm able to go outside when he's sleeping. And yeah, see you next time.